Maggie O'Farrell's 2006 novel, The Vanishing Act of Esme Lennox, delves into the haunting history of women subjected to forced institutionalization and the profound impact of buried family secrets. O'Farrell's narrative often revolves around women ensnared physically, emotionally, and psychologically by circumstances beyond their control, and this book stays true to that theme. Through a complex web of three distinct perspectives, O'Farrell unveils the story not only of Esme Lennox, but also of two other women whose lives are intricately intertwined with hers. Born in Northern Ireland and having lived in Wales and Scotland, O'Farrell draws upon her intimate knowledge of these diverse landscapes to craft atmospheric settings for her novels. The Vanishing Act of Esme Lennox marks her fourth novel, following her debut work, After You'd Gone, in 2000. With a prolific career spanning 7 additional novels, a memoir, and a children's book, O'Farrell's literary achievements have been widely recognized. Her novel Hamnet was awarded the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2020, while her latest work, The Marriage Portrait, was shortlisted for Waterstone's Book of the Year in 2022. The story revolves around Euphemia Esme Lennox, who resides with her parents and older sister Kitty in British-occupied India during the 1930s. Esme, from a young age, defiantly refuses to conform to societal expectations and rebels against her parents' authority at every opportunity. In contrast, Kitty eagerly seeks their approval and endeavors to become the favored daughter. When Esme forms a deep attachment to her newborn brother Hugo, she finds solace in entertaining him under the watchful eye of Jamila, her nanny. However, a tragic turn of events occurs when Esme and Kitty's parents embark on a trip, leaving Esme behind as punishment for venturing outside without shoes. Seizing her newfound freedom, Esme relishes the time alone with baby Hugo and Jamila. Unfortunately, Hugo falls gravely ill, and as night descends, Esme finds herself cradling her lifeless brother's body while Jamila languishes nearby on a pallet. The following morning, with Jamila's life claimed by typhoid, Esme retreats into the confines of the family library, clutching Hugo's lifeless form. Days later, when her parents and sister return, they discover Esme in a state of shock, still tightly holding on to Hugo. Bound by a silent pact, the Lennox family leaves India for Scotland, carrying with them the burden of their unspeakable tragedy. During the journey, Esme wrestles with the guilt of surviving the typhoid outbreak and endures her mother's cold silence since Hugo's passing. Scotland's stark contrast to India shocks both Esme and Kitty. Their grandmother, passing judgment on their appearance, deems it necessary to mold them into proper young ladies. Esme finds little inspiration in the Scottish surroundings, and her only solace lies in her deep love for playing the piano. However, her grandmother dismisses her passion as mere noise, stifling her artistic expression. As Esme grows older, she continues to defy her parents and grandmother, refusing to conform by maintaining her appearance or cutting her hair. While attending school, Esme's atypical height, peculiar looks, and eccentric personality lead to her alienation from the other girls, who subject her to relentless teasing. When confronted by a bully named Catriona, Esme defends herself, prompting Catriona to play a prank by swapping Esme's blazer for a smaller one. Confused by the sudden change, Esme confides in Kitty, who struggles to comprehend her sister's bewilderment. During a trip to the shore, Esme's life is endangered by a powerful wave that nearly drowns her, causing her to strike her head against a rock. As she emerges from the water, disoriented and dizzy, a fleeting vision materializes, an image of herself sitting on the beach alongside her family. Keeping this apparition to herself, Esme confides in Kitty alone. As the sisters approach adolescence, Esme's growing rebelliousness and Kitty's yearning for a suitable husband drive a wedge between them. Kitty finds herself drawn to a charming young man named James Dalziel, affectionately called Jamie. As Jamie's attention turns towards Esme, Kitty's heart fills with bitterness. Despite his pursuit, Esme resists his advances, harboring dreams of traveling the world and pursuing her education. On New Year's Eve, the sisters find themselves at a party where Jamie dances with Esme, leaving Kitty sitting alone in solitude. Jamie leads Esme into a closet, where he commits a heinous act of sexual assault against her. Esme, traumatized, keeps this horrifying experience locked within herself and descends into a state of shock, screaming when her parents express concern. A doctor interviews Kitty, and she reveals Esme's previous incident with the blazer and her hallucination at the shore. Based on this information, the doctor diagnoses Esme with schizophrenia. Abandoned by her father and the doctor, Esme is left screaming for help at Caldstone Psychiatric Hospital. Meanwhile, Kitty enters into a loveless and passionless marriage with a man named Duncan Lockhart. Despite her circumstances, Kitty visits Esme at Caldstone. It is during one of these visits that the doctor presents Kitty with Esme's infant son, fathered by Jamie without Esme's consent. Esme is left with nothing but the baby's green blanket. Recognizing Jamie as the father, Kitty conspires with her father to adopt the child, hiding the truth of his parentage. The infant, now known as Robert Lockhart, becomes a part of the family. Esme is left abandoned, without anyone to visit or support her. The narrative then shifts to focus on a woman named Iris Lockhart, residing in present-day Edinburgh, Scotland. She inherits her grandmother, Kathleen's, Kitty's, flat and runs a vintage clothing shop, living with only her dog as a companion. Iris frequently visits her grandmother, who suffers from Alzheimer's disease and resides in a nursing home. She engages in an affair with a married man named Luke, who promises to leave his wife, but Iris remains uncertain about committing to a relationship with him. Iris's father passed away at a young age, and her mother began a relationship with a man named Alex, who has a son of his own. During their teenage years, Iris and Alex develop romantic feelings for each other. Although Alex eventually marries another woman, he still holds a deep affection for Iris, and they maintain a close bond. One day, a man named Peter Lawston reveals to Iris that Esme Lennox, also known as Esme, is her great-aunt and a resident of Caldstone, a nearby hospital. With the impending closure of the hospital, Iris, as Esme's closest living relative, is tasked with finding her a new home. Surprised by the existence of a great-aunt she never knew, Iris visits Caldstone to meet with Mr. Lawston and obtain legal proof of her guardianship. During her visit, Iris learns that Esme has spent over 6 decades as a resident at Caldstone and that without Iris's intervention, Esme may end up in a hostel or nursing home. When Iris finally meets Esme, she feels an immediate connection. Despite Alex's pleas for her to walk away, Iris decides to invite Esme to stay at her flat temporarily until alternative arrangements can be made. Esme gathers her meager belongings, but is distraught to find her cherished green cloth, her baby's blanket, missing. Having endured years of mistreatment and neglect at Caldstone, Esme struggles to recollect the details of her past. However, as she spends more time with Iris, fragments of her memories begin to resurface. Upon seeing a photograph of Iris's father, Robert, Esme's son with Jamie, Esme realizes that Kitty raised her baby, making Iris her granddaughter. While Esme stays with Iris, Alex remains skeptical and concerned for Iris's safety. He pleads with Iris to end her relationship with Luke and be with him, but she refuses. The following day, Esme expresses her desire to visit her sister Kitty at the nursing home. During the journey, Iris spots Luke with his pregnant wife, shattering her illusions about their relationship. At the nursing home, Kitty interacts with Esme as if they were living in the past. Esme accuses Kitty of taking something from her and requests a moment alone with her sister. Alex and Iris, engaging in a heated argument in the car, leave them alone. Later, the nursing home staff is seen rushing inside as Iris returns to Kitty's room. She discovers Esme sitting calmly on the couch as the staff arrives to take her away. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.